when I travel throughout the world, when I go and stay at an Airbnb, I want to feel at home. It's what connects with the emotions. And when you walk into a place, that first impression means everything. You might come here and, you saw the ad on Facebook. We have an Airbnb in Kenya, right? But I realized throughout this journey that a lot of you guys are like me. I love going to Kenya. Like every time I go to Kenya, I have a blast. I love it. It's amazing. And I want to be able to go to Kenya 3 times out of the year. Let's say I go there, I stay there for 3 months, 4 months, right? Um, be comfortable, have my own space. I work from home, right? Like that, I'm there around family. Like I love going back to Kenya. But I guess the issue is, of course, there's things like cost of living, but you have to get accommodation. You got to get a place. An Airbnb, it can be expensive, right? So like a lot of people, you know, have that similar feeling. So I just want to get a show in the rooms, guys. How often has anyone here been to Kenya? And if you have been to Kenya, how many times throughout the year do you go? So let's say if you go there 1 time throughout the year, put a number one in the chat. If you go to Kenya 1 time throughout the year, let's say you go there every December, um, how often do you go? So if you go there, let's say 1 time in the year, you can put number one. Let's say you travel to Kenya and go there every 2 to 3, maybe you go there every 2 to 3 months or 4 months. Let's say 2 to 4 months, put number two. So maybe you live in Dubai, you come to Kenya, and put a number three if you go from 4 months all the way up until 12 months. I want to see a feel in the room of how often. So four. So, okay, you guys go 4 times throughout the year or 4 months, sorry. Three, okay, two, one, you'll go one, three. Okay, so a lot of you guys go to Kenya kind of frequently, right? In Kenya now, it's home. And that's fantastic. That's really good, right? How awesome does it feel to be back in Kenya? It feels good, doesn't it? It feels amazing. I love going to Kenya. So I actually want to make you really take what I'm about to tell you guys. What about if we can have a home back in Kenya? We're not spending all these huge fees with paying for accommodation. If we have our place, and then guess what? When we're not there, that place is generating us income. Would anyone like to hear how to do that? And again, we'll go into the hows and why people have been wanting to do something like this or envision this, but just haven't been able to. So put a number one if you just want to be able to have a place that you can come and call home. You come there. Now, when you come to Kenya, you don't have to pay ridiculous Airbnb prices. You just pay your rent and you're living in and you're staying in Kenya, right? When you leave, you're just paying the rent off because you have a place. It's beautiful. It looks amazing. Put a number one in the chat if that's you, right? Put a number two in the chat if you just say, you know what? I just want to go to Kenya, Sujira, and make money now. I want to go get an apartment, rent it out fully while I'm in the UK, while I'm in Dubai, while I'm wherever I am in the world, and just rent it out full time. And let's say it's a furnished place. Nice. Put number two if that's you. Now, put a number three if you want to do both. If you want to go to Kenya, you have a beautiful place, and then when you leave, someone else is renting it, stays there 3 nights, 4 nights, stays there 2 weeks. You get someone who comes and stays at your place for 6 months, and they pay you, let's say they pay you 1,200 US dollars outside of expenses for your place. That stable cash flow coming in every month. So that's the last option. So everyone looks like they're doing a number three. What about if I show you guys how to do that? Because I think some people might come in here as like, okay, how can I make money from this? I don't want you to think like that. That's going to be a bonus. I want to show you guys how you can do something special and something you've always dreamed of. So a disclaimer, guys, this is something that has just come through natural experience. So guys, I have a podcast. This is my main company is we do podcast production. So I speak to quite, highly influential people, family office, private equity. So this guy's a chief investment officer. So his job is to literally invest for families with over quite like millions, basically, like high net worth, right? So because think about this, guys. What I'm about to show you guys is going to be powerful. Do you know why? Because what's the plans? What's the reason for doing this? Okay, if I go and buy an apartment, I can either do two things. I can buy an off-plan apartment unit, right? Let's say it's 1 or 2 bedroom, and that's you put in a down deposit. You got to wait 2, 3 years. It's got to be built. There's construction. That's it's a cheaper option because and I'll just show you this place here. Again, everything we say, this was an off-plan place. I'm going to go into this whole story. This was off-plan. This was 6 years ago. It was built, da, 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 and it gets done, right? And then it looks like a beautiful apartment. So there's off-plan. Then there's ready. There's ready units that you can just go and buy. There's many of those. I have an auntie who done that, right? She just went and bought her apartment, um, and she paid like 100K if you have that money. Now, you may not have to put as much money as either of those, but let's just look at this. You talked a little about existing assets. Why existing assets when it comes to real estate?
Yeah, I mean, one, the risk inherently is a little bit less than a new development because you're hopefully it's a cash flowing asset. Even if it's a value add, meaning that you have to go in and do some renovations and things like that, you could kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to rental projections. I'm talking about multifamily specifically here. You could see rental projections and all of that. So you kind of lower your risk. There's still element of risk there, but you kind of lower it as opposed to a new development. You have a lot of factors. Biggest one is time for the asset to get built. The delays can be, permitting delays, architectural delays, engineering delays. There's a lot of that things go in the early stages of a development before you put shovel into ground. Then when shovel goes into ground, you have to build a structure. There could be delays on the building, supply costs, all of those. There's a lot of factors that go into a new build. And that's why we shy away from it. I live here in the Northeast in Massachusetts, Boston area. There's not many new developments happening. Why? Because land is scarce, right? A lot of the new developments that happen here, they're tearing down existing structure and building upon that land. When you go down south in the U.S., the Sun Belt areas, Texas, the Tennessees, the Carolinas, the Floridas, land is a little bit more abundant. You can build more land. Land cost is a little bit cheaper. You can build. We don't do those types of things typically, but that's typically where you'll see a lot of newer construction. But that's the main reason why I like.
So basically, he's saying that he prefers, as a chief investment officer, he prefers to go for something that's there. I can see it, I can feel it, I can touch it. I prefer to do that, right? Because why? And he said it earlier, it brings cash flow. There's already rent in demand for that place, right? But what about instead of us buying an apartment because we don't have 100K lying around, or even if we do, we want to use that for other things, but we can rent out an apartment. So, for example, I'll give a quick little backstory, because this is quite powerful. A lot of people ask that, should I do off plan or should I do ready, right? So, you could do both. But I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can get into it without having to do so much. So let's go a little bit. I'll just show you quickly. So this is my mum, guys. So my mum, she looks like she's 25, I know. But she purchased an off-plan unit. So exactly what he said, he prefers real assets. She purchased an off-plan unit, right? It was 53,000 US dollars. She had to put a $20,000 down deposit, which is Australian dollars, so like a small down deposit. And then because of course it's more capital required, she did a mortgage, right? So she can save on, at least the cash that she's doing it. So she put it up on Airbnb now because she owns it. It was off plan, right? And so that's what mum did. So as you can see, this place was exactly the place I'm talking about, right? Off plan, and it was built, but now she went in and spent extra. She spent over $20,000 in just the furnishing. So she spent 20,000 in furnishing alone, another 20,000 on the down deposit, and she's doing a mortgage, which she's still paying off. But now, of course, it's built, it's ready. Now it's up on Airbnb, right? So it's like, okay, when I'm not in Kenya, it can bring me cash flow, right? So that's the difference between off plan and ready. So That's what I want to get into this. And before we do that, I always like to do something right. So I want to do an activity. I want everyone here to close their eyes. Again, I know some of you guys are already in Kenya, but close your eyes, right? And you're traveling back to Kenya and you're on that plane. You don't have to pay for, you're not paying for a hotel. You're not paying for accommodation. You just have a rental amount that you put aside. Your amazing apartment, clean, you're excited. You arrive. You get someone picks you up from the airport, makes you feel special. There's mints in the car. You drive off to your beautiful, luxurious serviced apartment. Let's say you have this place in Westlands. You check in, the security is really nice, lets you in. They see your name on the door. You're welcomed with the best customer service possible. You're made to feel at home. You're in the motherland. You have a beautiful, furnished apartment. Absolutely beautiful. And there's other services. You can record a podcast. You have amenities, swimming pool, and you enjoying your time in Kenya. You stay there for a month, 2 months, you have a great time. And then let's say you're traveling, you're going back to Australia, you're going back to Dubai. You get a call from Sujira, hey, we've got someone who wants to come and stay for 3 months. They love your place. They'll be paying you after expenses, after property management, with everything that you have offered at this apartment. They're giving you 1,300 US dollars. How does that make you feel? So when you leave, that money is coming in every month for 3 months. Now you get a call for 6 months. So when you're not in this place, it's bringing you income. What about if it brings you more income than your current job? How would that make you feel? So I want you guys to open your eyes. So that's the expectation is not even how can I earn money from this? That's going to be a bonus for you. You're going to have a place, but then I'm going to show you how it's also going to make you money. So at least now when you have this place, you're not going into the expectation of, oh, how can I get booked out? How can I go booked out? I'm going to show you some powerful strategies that you're going to see and be like, wow, why didn't I do this earlier? But it just hasn't come up. Everything in life comes through a manifestation. You've been thinking about this. You saw this on Facebook. So you guys can see my screen. This is Airbnb. You can see a year in review. This is our family. So $21,838 in 2025. This is not even just mine personally. This is our family. $21,000, right? And we have two Airbnbs, which is very, very interesting. We have one here in Australia, in Kogarah, where I live in Sydney, and we have the other one, that mum's place in Nairobi, right? So the big money maker from this 21,000, $18,000 has come from our place, actually not in Kenya, but here in Australia. Because guess what we do? We pay rent to, so we don't own this place here in Australia. We pay rent. It's high rent. It's $1,200 a week is where we pay rent. Here we live close to the city in Australia, right? But guess what we do? We have a beautiful place, like because our place has its own entry, and we put it up on Airbnb. And because we don't put it up at such a high price, because it's, you're sharing the accommodation with the family, and mum and dad are working there quite a lot. We get booked out quite a lot. So it brought in $18,000. And the other money came through mum's Airbnb, just a place there that she has, and money comes in. So when she's in Kenya, that's money sitting in her account from her Airbnb, right? So that is what you call the possibilities. Now I'm going to go into a little bit more in Kenya, but I'm getting you to picture that. Imagine if instead of you spending all this money on buying an off-plan place, waiting 2 to 3 years with construction risks, or okay, if you have 100K to buy an apartment, then maybe you're just here to because you just got it like that, right? But some of us are in between that situation. So you can see here, for example, where it says $580 that came to our place in Australia, 750 Australian dollars came to our apartment in Kilimani, right? So like this is the model. So I had a conversation with this lady. But actually, before I get there, I want to tell you guys a little bit on a small story of how I got here, right? So the biggest thing with people when it comes to even sometimes just Africa or doing something like this is who can I trust, right? Everyone says that they can do this, they can do that, but who the hell can I trust? And then especially back in Kenya, hey, your own family can steal from you. People will say, "Oh, I'm this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this," and it's just lies. So the reason why a lot of you have come to this, and I was once in your shoes a little bit because I've been traveling to Kenya. I go there every year, guys, and I stay, So I've spent quite a lot of money with Airbnbs and things like that. So I've always thought, like, imagine every time I was leaving, I was actually very sad to leave. Like, I just love Kenya, and you'll know why I was more sad to leave. I'll show you in a minute. But I was very sad to keep leaving. So when I got my Airbnb, it was like, wow, like, okay, yes, it's something that can make money. But first of all, the biggest motivation is just having a place I can call home. So when I go to Kenya, I can go stay there for 2, 3 months. Let's say I'm working from home, which I do, I work full time. I'm getting Australian dollars while I'm in Nairobi, right? But the biggest fear people have is they're scared of being scammed. I'll do it next year, and they're scared of sending money home, which I truly understand. It's scary sending money to anyone these days, right? So who am I? My name is Sujiro Rabasha. I own ETS Rabasha Media here in Australia. And so this is my journey in Kenya. And this is going to play an important part into, a lot of you guys have come to our webinars before. You're in our WhatsApp group. You guys know who I am. We work with a lot of you guys. But I think just the story is so powerful. So I've got here more because I fell in love with my partner and I engaged with her. Her name's Anyango, Kenyan, right? And we started an Airbnb business together, which I'll get a little bit more into, right? So I was born in Kenya. I'm the middle child there in the middle. So we moved to Australia when I was 3 years old. So I understand Kiswahili, kila kitu, lakini to speak, I struggle a little bit because when we were younger, my mum was teaching us English, or we were learning English, I would say, but she would always speak to us in Swahili. So I've been a footballer most of my life. I transitioned into doing YouTube, and then building a business through podcast and media, and then what I'm doing here in Kenya. And I started an African campaign with my father to take back African names. So I always call Africans by their African names. I always ask, "What's your African name?" And so we started that, right? So basically, what happened was because like I said, I engaged with my fiance, right? So actually, this is actually how everything all started. And I was on a border, and I'm excited. I'm from Australia. We don't have borders. So I'm riding on the border, and then I see a girl, her pants were kind of sticking out, and I was like, wow, pretty, amazing. So the border kept going, and I was like, turn around, turn around.
No way.
Yeah, imagine.
Yes, we.
I was like, turn around. And then he's like, okay. He's like, I know them, I know them. So he turned around, he pulled up. And then I know when I'm in Kenya, my accent sticks out. So the girls, usually. So then I kind of put an extra accent on. I said, excuse me, can I please get your number? And then she didn't even understand what I said. She was like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can I get your number? Put your number in my phone. You're very beautiful. And then she, of course, so guys, put a number 1 in the chat if you're enjoying this so far, because like again, I had to unpeel the reason why I'm here. This is why I'm here, like because of love, right? So think about it. I'm in love with my partner. So now I can like imagine going to Kenya and I'm getting Australian dollars, this dollars that I get here, 900 a week, 800 a week, and I'm in home in Kenya, right? That's an amazing feeling. Like that's actually literally my dream. I can be in Kenya 6 months out of the year, 4 months out of the year, right? Okay, I pay rent to my place. And okay, cool. And it's cheap compared to what you'd pay in Australia. Do you know how much I told you guys here in Australia? Did you guys not hear what I said? I said my rent is 1,200 a week. A week. That's how our rent here in Australia, 1,200 a week, right? So Kenya, what I'm paying is peanuts. And I was so again, this is what we did. We paid bond and rent, 1,500 US dollars, right? So what you do is you pay 2 months rent, and then you pay a security deposit. Then we furnished the place. We spent around 6,000 US dollars furnishing the place, making it excellent, which I'm going to show you why it becomes an asset and how you can now turn this into a business as a bonus. We went live on Airbnb within a month very quickly. The reason why I was able to do this, why, is because I trust her. It's my fiance. She's not going to take that money and run from it. No, this is our beautiful place. It's 500 a month I pay in rent, which is 800 Australian dollars a month, which is nothing from this place in Lavington, beautiful. So this is our place we actually have on Airbnb, for example, right? So that's just to kind of get you an idea. But now is where you're going to get your mind blown. So put a number 1 in the comment if you guys are enjoying this so far. I want to hear your feedback because we haven't even gotten started. But basically what we did was the asset here is I've got it unfurnished because guys, and I'm going to show you why. Most people in Kenya, and if you look, and even the websites, do you know what they do? This is what they do. They buy a property and then they leave it unfurnished and then they just go, okay, rent it out for $700 a month. Just like $500 a month, which is 800 Australian dollars. But let's say $500 a month, she rents it out because she's like, look, I'm going to get this beautiful apartment. I don't have time to furnish it. I'm not going to spend an extra 20 grand to furnish it. So let me just rent it out unfurnished. That's what majority people do. And you're going to see why this is going to be a business model that is going to put so much money in your pocket. You're going to look at me because it's going to make so much sense. So that's what people do. They buy an apartment and then they just lease it out unfurnished because it's easier. So again, my mom, why do you think my mom took a mortgage for this place? Why? It's not that she didn't have the money. She had the money. But do you know how much my mom spent in furnishing this place? She had to get it off plan, already a 20 grand down deposit. Okay, 1,500 or it's 1,000 US dollars a month in mortgage. But now she had to go and furnish this place. She spent 2 million Kenyan shillings furnishing this place because she knows it's a place that she's going to go and live when she goes to Kenya. But also, of course, she wants it. She's been a flight attendant her whole life, so she wants it to be on Airbnb. She's like, okay, how can I? If I own a place, I might as well make some money out of the place, right? So, but most people in Kenya don't do that. She's here. She's been living in Australia. She's extra. Most people, guys, just get an apartment and leave it unfurnished. So what we do is get this place and we say we're going to live in this place ourselves. So I want you to think of this place. Don't even think of it like an investment right now. I want you to think of it like if this is a place I'm going to go live, how do I want it to be? Because that's what we put ourselves in the shoes of our customers because we're here to solve a problem. So you can see the way this is furnished is I'm a very attention to detail person. Everything here in our Airbnb, just like my mum's is, everything comes to attention to detail. But how much am I paying rent? I'm paying rent $500 a month. If you're from the UK, you're translating in pounds. Mate, that's nothing. It's peanuts. Really, right? So you make it into an asset. You make it into a big asset by furnishing it like this, right? Now is where we blow the mind. So you guys can see the place, right? So let's have an example. So this is just an example, like a live example that I can show you guys, right? So this is a one bedroom apartment in Westlands. So I look at I think, because I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do. You're going to live in your apartment and I want you to live in there now, right? You're going to live in your apartment, but
Ngono chulcha enough yechu.
I'll just put some on me here. You're going to live in your apartment, but it's going to be the best apartment ever. It's going to be for a corporate person. It's going to be for someone who, if they see your price at $250 a night, they're going to pay for it. Can you guys see how much this apartment here is worth? It's 90,000 Kenyan shillings a month. Can anyone tell me how much that is in USD, this apartment here? Please have a look at it. It's unfurnished and tell me what you think. This is just an example, right? How much is 90,000 Kenyan shillings in US dollars? Can someone please help us while we'll look through? So, I always look at the amenities is very important. Um, you know, so you can see the pool area. Okay. So is 700 USDs, 700 US dollars approximately. Yeah, correct. 700 US dollars for this place, right? That you can pay for rent. I don't know about downtown New. Oh, well, I do know actually. I've been to New York. Oh my goodness, try get an apartment in New York downtown for that price. Yeah, good luck with that. So, and in Australia, forget about it. Did I just not tell you guys I pay 1,200 a week here in rent? So in the city, it's even worse. So this is in Westlands, which is like prime Nairobi, right? Okay, cool. What about if I show you some magic? And this is, you can literally like search this up, guys. You have Google, you there, look at the website I'm looking. This same place, same one bedroom apartment for rent in Westlands. Can someone Google and tell me how much this is in US dollars, please? How much is 220,000 Kenyan shillings in US dollars? And also look at the way it's furnished at the same time. And I'm pretty sure this is the same place. Like you can see the bathroom. Bathroom is similar. Um, so this place is, someone just said it's 700 US dollars approximately. This place is how much has someone put in the chat? Not yet. No one's put it in the chat yet. How much is 220,000 Kenya shillings in rent? Let's That's how powerful this is. I just wait for someone to let me know how much that is. Yep, someone's telling me. So that's 1,700 US dollars is 220,000 Kenyan shillings per month. So that's $1,700. So the only difference, what's the difference? The only difference is one is furnished and one isn't, right? This is furnished. Guys, what we're going to do is when you leave, let's say you go back to, okay, no worries at all. Yes, you can have the recording also. Um, let's say you travel back to your home. Let's say you go back to Dubai, elsewhere, and now you're renting it out monthly at this price. What's the difference that you're getting in rent? And let's say, because what I'm going to show you is we're not just going to put it as a furnished apartment. We're going to put it as a serviced apartment. We're going to put it as a place that comes services. What does that mean? That you get picked up from the airport. Let's say you're coming to Nairobi for a business meeting for the weekend. So you've gone back to you're paying rent at this place. You've stayed in Kenya for 3 months. Let's say you got to go back to the UK. You got to go back to Dubai. Then you get a call. Hey, I've got someone for you. They want to stay for the weekend. You charge them $250 a night. And why do you charge them $250 a night? Because your place is furnished, it's excellent, it comes at the highest standard that someone says this is worth my $250 a night. And that $250 a night, you get a driver that picks you up from the airport. You get a driver the whole time you're in Nairobi. You have access to, for example, other things too, like a co-working space. You can go record a podcast. You're in the GTC next to the Global Trade Center. There's pool, there's a gym. $250 a night. There'll be people who are lining up to pay that. Why are they lining up to pay that, Sujira? Well, let me actually show you why. I spoke to a relocation consultant. So her job literally, she gets Coca-Cola, for example. Coca-Cola come to this lady here, one boy. She used to live in America. Her husband actually lives in America. She's someone like myself. She's a relocation consultant. How she was a mother. Kenya was always home and she wanted to live in Kenya. The husband right now still lives in America. They're in long distance, just like me, right? So she was like, how can I be in Kenya more often? So because she knows she's home, she became a relocation consultant in Dubai, which is basically companies like Coca-Cola come to her and then they say, hey, we've got the human resources team. They say, hey, we've got 5 staff. We're opening headquarters in Nairobi. Tech companies, do you know how many? It's the Silicon Valley. They say we're opening our headquarters in Nairobi and we have our director of HR, the CEO, who is moving down for 6 months, for 1 year. So we need a 1 or 2 bedroom unit. So think about that, right? If we can give, let's say, so remember, guys, remember, this is not something you've said, oh, I want to make money from. This is a place that you just call home. But now this home that you have is at the highest excellent. We've furnished it. We've done a great job. Like, for example, and I go into a little bit more of the cost. This is our place on TikTok. This is just a place that I'm living. I'm going to get another place in Westlands because I'm like, I want to be, this is what I see. And I'm going to show you why I'm doing that, right? So we want our place to look like this, right? This is the end result because I'm going to show you another little gem. But look at this place now. Do you know how much people pay for this place in Nairobi? And it's getting booked. It's fully booked. This is the JW Marriott in Hotel Nairobi. It's Global Trade Center. It's actually at the same location as this place. It's literally like in the same location as this place. But I do my due diligence. So I look, guys, this is $440 a night. Imagine you live in a place like this and you're paying here, let's say $700 or $800 a month, but this is your place in Nairobi. And let's say when you leave Nairobi, now you have this place getting booked up. Just 3 nights covers your whole rent. So I'm going to show you a little bit more, but so that's the vision. Imagine you have a place like that, and then now you're putting it up for rent. So now, let's say you get a call, and then I say, hey, I call you, and I say, I've just spoken to, for example, one boy, or I've spoken to another one of our connections. They have a corporate person who's coming to Nairobi for 6 months, and they want to rent out a place. We show them your place and they love it and they want to book it for 6 months. They want to come and view it this weekend. How would you react? Put a number 1 in the chat if you would react and tell me, yes, Sujira, I would take it. And actually, so let's say they're going to pay, we charge them, let's say because it's a service department, It's serviced. It's like this. It's beautiful. Let's say we charge them. Let's say we say our monthly rate. This one here, guys, is 220. Well, you know me, the way we do things with the Rabasha family, we do things with a little bit more care and attention to detail. So let's say we charge them to come in. Our monthly rate, we give them 300,000 a month. Now, can someone Google 300,000 Kenya shillings a month? Can someone Google what that is in US dollars and put it in the chat? So we've got a 6 month assignee. They work for a global tech firm from South Africa. They've come to Nairobi for operations. You've gone back in your home country, but I've said to you, hey, you've got someone who wants to stay at your place for 300,000 Kenya shillings per month. Is that okay with you? Can someone tell me how much that is in US dollars, please? You get your own driver, you get access to the swimming pool, amenities, you have a co-working space, you can go on a safari tour, you get looked after, you get everything. You're made to feel like home. How much is 300,000 Kenya shillings to US dollars? Has someone found it? Let's do the maths. 300,000 Kenya shillings to US dollars. Okay, we've got an answer. That's 2,300 US dollars. 2,300 US dollars. Okay, right? 2,300 US dollars for our amazing one bedroom apartment that comes with amenities. Okay. Hey, ChatGPT, $2,300. How much is that in a week? How much, if you were to split that up in weekly payments, how much is that? Let me just ask ChatGPT. I'm asking on my phone. So if it's 4 weeks, that's about $500 a week. $500 a week, right? In that's how much that is, $2,300, which is 300,000 Kenya shillings, right? So $500 a week in New York, in London, in any of the big cities. Where can you go rent an apartment that gives you a driver, that you have access to luxurious facilities? You're there on work. Which place can you go and rent out in New York, in London for this amount? You'd be dreaming, right? But we can charge this now. So remember, the companies are the ones who pay for their staff for the accommodation. It doesn't come even out of the staff member. So they get people like them, and they come to her and say, look, this is our budget. We have a budget of $5,000 for accommodation for this CEO, for this director. This is our budget. This is the budget for schools. This is the budget. So that's why location is very important. What schools or the place is your apartment or unit in? Later, we'll go into houses, but we can get to that later. So remember, we're renting out an apartment, guys, for $700 a month. And now we're charging in rent 2,300 USD. So let's do the maths. Let's follow along with me, guys. You're charging for this assignee. She's come to give you an assignee who's coming to move to Nairobi. 2,300 USD minus your rent is $700 a month. And remember, this is just a place for you to live. But now because you're not there, someone wants to stay in your place. Is that okay, guys? And you've got an amazing in an amazing building. That's $1,600 left over. So now you got to play for property management. Let's say I say to you, hey, we will manage the property for you. We run Airbnb. This is something that we do. We're 5-star rated. Like, this is a business. We have one thing which I'm going to show you is important in every business, right? So let's say out of that 1,600, that's left over. 2,300 minus 700, guys, is $1,600 that you get. Boom, right? So let's say minus expenses. Let's say I tell you, hey, we got to take 20% from that, right? We got to take 20% from that 1,600, because we get the driver. We got to get the cleaning. The cleaning is not so high. It's not like Australia. It's not like Dubai. So the cleaning we can still get cheaper, but we got everything it has to match. We literally have to copy what this looks like. I don't even want to look at that other place. This is our model. These are the apartments that we're going to have in Westlands, which is part of this process that we take people on. It's a no-brainer because it's crazy, because it's a place you're going to live, but now I'm just showing you the business of what's possible. So 1,600, let's say minus, even just because you're putting much service into it, let's say you minus 300 out of that, right? So you're left now with 1,300 away from expenses, meaning you have property management paying, they're cleaning, they're doing everything, they're looking after your tenants. So that's 1,300 a month you're left with. Then I say to you, hey, put in another 300 into marketing. We run Google ads, because if all six of us, seven of us, if we all have these luxurious apartments like this, these are all places that we call home. But now when we're not there, we just rent these places out, right? So if now you all put in, let's say out of that 1,300 you get, because you're also smart. So yes, you're getting good money, but okay, let me invest. Let's say you put an extra $300 into, let's run Google ads. So when someone does this, because this is what people do, luxury serviced apartments, Nairobi. They don't want to go in a hotel because it's very hotelish. They want the exclusivity and the privacy, but they want to feel like that they're staying at a hotel, right? So if I go on here, we'll see, and we're going to get into. Look what comes up. This same place, and I've been doing my research. Look what's next, and this will come. Look what's next, guys. This is 300 Australian dollars a night, which is around 200 bucks a night, right? Why? Because it's world class. And what's funny is the places with the most expensive always have the more reviews. Why? Because we're not going to compete with everyone else in the marketplace, guys. We're not just going to be normal Airbnb, $80 a night. No, we're going to be so expensive. People are going to say, why is that place expensive? I want to book it, because if it costs that much money, look at the difference apart from this one. They're all, for me, in my eyes, they're not, they're okay like this, but nah, if I get a place, we got to do better than that. This looks okay, and there's on and on, but this is what we're going to accomplish. So now you take an extra 300, you put it into marketing. We all run Google ads. We're putting in 2 grand into marketing a month, because we're managing 6, 7 apartments. And now when people search a luxury apartment, they find us. Now, because you've just heard that, have a listen to this video. Some of you have already heard it in the WhatsApp group. I want you to play it again, because sometimes it takes 2 to 3 things to listen, because this is going to be very important. Like I said, this is going to be your home that you relocate to, but this is how we're going to make money. Are you guys ready? So, yeah. So that example, let's go back to the single one, 6 to 12 months, when they come in. Is there any pain point that you guys have to market in regards to the landlord and the supply and the demand? You know how you gave the example that there's a lot of demand for good quality, especially if we're now going to talk about furnished and serviced and really good amenities. Is there any pain points around there? Is it the same thing around that landlord being difficult in the, let's say, that single person who's coming? Guys, I'm sorry to do that. I just want to stop it here. Part of my question, I've said to her, because you can see how there's a lot of demand. She said basically there's a lot of demand between the best places. Like, people want the best places. Look at the difference between this place and this place. Even by this, you can see the difference, right? So let's go back. I'll skip it. So that example. So that example, single one, 6 to 12 months. Pain point that you guys have to market in regards to the landlord and the supply and the demand. You know how you gave the example that there's a lot of demand for good quality, especially if we're now going to talk about furnished and serviced and really good amenities. Is there any pain points around there? Is it the same thing around that landlord being difficult in the, let's say, that single person who's coming for a nice furnished and serviced unit?
Yeah. Another good question. Yeah. I would say
I do ask good questions.
One of the pain points that we do experience. So with our assignees who are single and who would be looking at long-term accommodations in the furnished and serviced space, we would be competing for housing and apartments with the business tourists. Yeah. So with your your short-let space, where you have Nairobi hosts a lot of conferences, a lot of business travel type meetings, And so a lot of these clientele, visitors to Nairobi, would be taking up a lot of these 1 and 2 bed furnished units. So, it's the biggest pain point we have is if we start, say, home find even a week prior to when this assignee wants to, or is available to view properties, we find that on the day of the property viewings, most of them are booked up. I mean, the worst viewing day would be, say, like on a Friday or on a Saturday morning around the weekends. This is when a lot of these short-let properties would be taken up, either for the weekend or for the upcoming week. So the turnover is quite high. And so that's been, I think, a big pain point. We do find there are several.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna pause it there. So now, guys, I'm very strategical in what I do. So why did I ask her, what's your biggest pain point? Why did I ask her? And I'm building a relationship with this person. She's amazing. Her spirit, you can even just see by that image, her creativity. She's beautiful. She's a mother. She's a wife. Like, she's awesome, right? So why did I ask her what her pain points are? I was doing a podcast with her. And this is the game I'm in. I can talk to anyone, literally. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. She would be, if I was to have an apartment, I don't know about you guys, but if I was to have a place, she would be a very good referral partner. Why? Because her only job is to make someone, when they come to Kenya, that they are looked after completely, because the companies invest a lot in their team, right? Your team is everything. I could not run my business without my team. So if my team is doing operations, we're in Nairobi, I'm going to pay damn good money for my employee to be looked after. So she's the one who makes them make sure the schools, if they're coming with their family, if they need a house, some come for a house, right? Which will come to that market later, but this one's more cheaper, right? Some just coming for 6 months, 3 months, 12 months, and they need a beautiful place. And so what she said was, basically what she said is there is such high demand, and these are the best businesses. And this is why, guys, we're going to make money out of this business. Do you know why you guys are going to make money out of this business? Because just like any business, you're not going to go into it needing, I need to make money from this. I need to have my place booked out. If you go into that mindset, you're going into lack. We're going into the mindset of abundance, meaning we're just going to pay rent. So like, because this has blown my mind, this place in Lavington that I have, it's a beautiful place. It's right next to Westlands. It's next door to Westlands. It's kind of near Kilimani. It's a really quiet, we chose it for a reason. Now I'm just going to pay rent here. I'm going to remove it from Airbnb. I'll stay, of course, now when I leave, I'll have it up and I'll show you the numbers, the money that we've made, and I'll be very transparent. But now I'm going to go, I pay $800 this one. I just got my second sublease. So me and my partner, like that's a place that she can stay in. So she stays there full time. I have my own apartment. That's 800 plus $500. That's in, and I'm giving you guys in Australian dollars. So basically $500 US dollars for this place. And the place that she's staying, which is in Gong Road, very beautiful place. It's like $300. So I'm paying $800 for 2 places of rent, my fiance's place and my place, which is nothing because I told you I pay $1,200 a week here. We pay as a family, so that's nothing. And then I'm doing this, I'm helping people do this as a business, which brings in income. And then I have my other income streams. But now I get a place in Westlands and do this. So what she said is if there's high demand, look at this place, guys. It's so expensive, but people go and pay for, look at the reviews. Look at the reviews. And I'm going to go into this, but we're not going to be competing in this low market anymore, guys. See, people have Airbnb, it is a saturated game, but it's saturated for the average. It is. If you're average, you have an average place, it looks okay, da da da. You're going to be in the market just like everyone else. And with that market, it's up and down. But when we're playing in the high boutique market, because we have a place that looks like this and you furnished it just the way we furnished this place. Look at this place. Like we furnished it like amazingly well. But we do that with a place like this. Now we're playing in the higher class market. We're playing within the top 1% market. And that's the market you want to pay in. There's someone, because it's your home, you're just not going to have any riffraffs who are going to pay $69, $50, these rubbish prices here. No, it's $250 per night. Because look, you don't need to, and guess what? If you have 3 nights booked, that pays your whole rent. So the reason why I showed you why that video is important is because think about all your big brands, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, they have high demand, like it's high demand, it's low supply. There's a security when you walk in Gucci. Do you think is there a security when you go to Target? Hey, there's no security. Well, there's people watching for stealing for the thugs because there's cheap prices. But Gucci, there's so all the high class, there's high demand and low supply. So the reason why I asked her for her pain points is because I'm thinking, okay, guys, do you know what we could do? And we could do this, right? When she said something that was very important in this also. She said a lot of business tourists come to Nairobi. So there's a lot of guys, there's business expos, everything. They're coming for 3 nights, but they still want to stay at the most luxurious pace, but they're coming for 3 nights. So 250 per night. Can someone tell me the maths? And we're talking about US dollars. If someone pays $250 a night for 3 nights, can someone write in this chat how much money that is, please? Please. And we're giving him a discount, 250. In a year, that price is going to be 300. And I'm going to prove to you why. But anyway, $250 a night. How much is that if someone books for 3 nights? Can someone write in the chat? Remember, the big brands, the high class Chanel bags, Birkin bag, go look at their sales cycle. They have, okay, so someone's writing in the chat. So 32,000 Kenyan shillings. Okay, 32,000 Kenyan shillings. How much is that in US dollars or 250 USD? But 250 USD per night. So 250 USD, if someone books for 3 nights, 250 times 3 nights, that's $750. Guys, how much is rent again? How much is rent again? So if someone books minimum stay at your place, so that's what we say. We don't need many bookings to just make our rent. No, that's the average market. We play at the top 1% market. We play at the, so less bookings, like my business now, because we charge, we'll have a premium price. If you guys have been part of our 8-week cohort, we have premium price. So I don't have to take on so many clients. It's not about a numbers game. It's about quality. It's about quantity. So for 3 nights, you have someone, maybe it's a CEO, it's a private equity person, and they're coming for just a business event in Nairobi. They want to stay at a place like this. Their company's going to pay for it. It's a tax write-off, right? It's part of tax. But they want to stay at a place that's really nice. I call you, it's 700, da da da. That's boom, just for 3 nights. Now do the maths if you get 50% occupancy rate, guys. Do the maths if you get 50% occupancy rate. So what have we learned so far? There's low supply, high demand for luxurious, amazing serviced properties. Okay. Now, before we get into the small areas, I don't want to take too much of your time, guys, but let's have a watch of this. And how, listen to what he says. This is another podcast with a buyer's agent.
Yeah, so vacancy rate essentially is, if you think about the number of rental properties that there are in an area, it's the comparison of how many rental properties are there, and a vacant rental property is a property that's actually been listed on the market for more than 21 days. So you take the proportion of that compared to the available rental dwellings, and that gives you an idea of how quickly these rental properties are moving. So ideally, a good vacancy rate in a target market falls between sort of 0 and 3%. If it's less than 1%, it's very, very tight. And what that tends to mean is you've got a lot of renters fighting over the same properties.
So he said, if it's north of 1%, if it's very low, it's good because you have a lot of people fighting for many properties, right? What did this lady say? She said her pain point is that when she wants to find furnished high-class apartments, that by the time that, because for her job, her as an assignee, the person has to, if they're going to stay there for 6 months, they're going to go check out the property, guys, right? The company's paying 6 months, $2,000 a month. If we're going to charge them $2,500 a month, they're going to go and look at it and do their due diligence. So she's saying her pain point is by the time um, I'm showing this to an assignee. The landlord's already telling me, hey, sorry, the place is gone for a 3 night stay. You can't view it. I'm sorry. What am I supposed to do? Someone's paid me. Like, you're not paying me. Like, they just want to come and view it. This person's paying me, you know? So there's high demand and there's low supply, which means as the landlord, the ball's in my court. Listen.
Yeah, so vacancy rate essentially is how many rental properties of how many rental area. It's the comparison of how many rental properties are there, and a vacant rental property is a property that's actually been listed on the market for more than 21 days. So you take the proportion of that compared to the available rental dwellings, and that gives you an idea of how quickly these rental properties are moving. So ideally, a good vacancy rate in a target market falls between sort of 0 and 3%. If it's less than 1%, it's very, very tight. And what that tends to mean is you've got a lot of renters fighting over the same properties, and that can enable you to maximize your rental income over time. So it's just one factor I look at for clients is not obviously, primarily we want to make sure that the capital growth increases over time.
So he said one of their goals in buying property for the clients is making sure the capital growth appreciates over time. Remember the conversation I showed you guys with the family office. This guy is a chief investment officer. Quickly, guys, I asked him about off-plan versus ready units. His quick response, quickly. You talked a little about existing assets. Why existing assets when it comes to real estate?
Yeah, I mean, one, the risk inherently is a little bit less than a new development because hopefully it's a cash flowing asset.
Less risk. Is it a cash flowing asset? So if we do off plan, there's risks because there's a building, there's delays, there's blah, 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 blah.
Even if it's a value add, meaning that you have to go in and do some renovations and things like that, you could kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel.
He said, even if you, so for example, for an apartment, he's saying, even if you have to go and furnish it, which is renovating, all we're doing is getting an unfurnished place, we're renovating, right? So he's saying, even if you're renovating it, you can still see light at the end of the tunnel, meaning it's not an off-plan place. When I did my place, guys, I could see it. I could see it from being unfurnished. It's something that I know I'm going to live there.
When it comes to rental projections, I'm talking about multifamily specifically here. You could see rental projections and all of that. So you kind of lower your risk. There's still element of risk there, but you kind of lower it as opposed to a new development.
So he's saying that he prefers like apartments that are already done because there's already a rental demand for it. There's already people buying it. These places are already for rents. There's more places coming every day, but we need a place that's really high class, like in Westlands. That's, so like that's what he's saying. And let's skip here.
Yeah, so vacancy rate essentially is.
I'll just skip it. So we don't get the capital appreciation of it. So we don't get it because we're just renting it out.
Yeah,
but
so
what do we get?
Rate is a lot of renters fighting over the same property as your rental income over time. So it's just one factor I look at for clients is not obviously, primarily we want to make sure that the capital growth increases over time.
Okay, we don't get capital growth for this.
But you also want to manage the cash flow because the more cash flow that you can generate from a property can actually play a big part on being able to then get and invest in your next property and ultimately building your portfolio.
Guys, what about if we do this, if you get an unfurnished place like this, furnish it up really, really well, it's a place that you can go and live, but now it has a lot of demand and you getting it booked out. And it's bringing you $1,000 extra cash in your hand, cash in the bank. And now you save, and because we've added more services, they can do podcasting, they could do Masai Mara. There's so many services that you get commission from because it's all in this amazing building. And it's a place that you live. It's not off plan. It's da-da-da. And now it's bringing you $1,200 a month, guys, through extra commissions in terms of other services. $1,200 a month. What about after 12 months, you now get that $1,200 that you've been getting, but let's say you go stay there for 3 months out of the year. So maybe for 3 months, you've been getting $1,500 US. What about if you can now put that for let's say you put that now for an off-plan place. So let's get another one, like and that'll be a place, maybe again, a place I'll live maybe, right? So it can be, I can put a down deposit now, but the money that I'm getting from us, this Airbnb, me putting out to high class people, the money that this is bringing back, I could pay off the off-plan unit. I can fund another 2 to 3. I could be subletting 3 to 4 units doing this exact model. Because what my vision is, guys, because as I said, I'm gonna go live in my apartment now. I'll go live there, pay 2 rents for me and my fiance, and then what I'll do is I'll get this place in Westlands, and then I'll rent it out. That's the game. So this is our Airbnb listing. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll just quickly show you. So from my Airbnb, I started this last year, guys. Last year. So let me show you the numbers. Now I could all talk about a dream. Everyone can talk about a high dream, but let's talk about the reality. So if you do get an Airbnb, let's say you want to get the place when you're not there. It's for you when you're there, but when you're not there, this is the occupancy rate. So this is what you should expect if you were to do this today. 65 to 85% in Lavington, Kileleshwa, Westlands, Kilimani, Gigi area, right? Again, I'm looking at Westlands really now, but I have my place in Lavington, and that's why we chose Lavington. 65 to 85%, right? This is, for example, our viewing when we first put it up. As you can see, this is my current viewing now. It's beautiful. We did an amazing job. 1 bedroom, really nice swimming pool. Look at that. My fiance, interior designer. We wanted to be very creative, right? So, but remember, this is my place I live. This is my investment. I'm not buying a unit. I'm just renting a place that I have when I go to Nairobi as I travel throughout the year. I have a place I can go stay. I don't have to pay 1,600, 3 grand a month for Airbnb. So we launched in around this climbing a month from now because of high season in Nairobi, right? So we launched it around, it was June. So July, we paid 2 months rent up front. So we paid rent up until August. In August, guys, my rent was paid, or it was about $460. And I'll actually show you the numbers. Let's go here. So remember, guys, this is a place that I live. It's a place that I live. In August, our first month of putting this place out, because I wasn't there at August, I was in Australia. I had traveled in April, so I couldn't go back. And this was just when I came back, was $440 was my first month rent, guys. So I had to pay back $60 in rent because my rent is $500 a month, remember, in Lavington. So this month, I paid $60 in rent. This month, September, I earned $66. Well, we got to pay Wi-Fi. Let's look here. Wi-Fi is about $30 a month. We furnished it. Let's say we spent about $6 in furnishing. Interior designer, let's say you'd spend about $580. You guys can write this down if you want. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Marketing, don't worry about that for now. Let's make money first with our Airbnb. Let's make money, and then we'll put more into marketing, because if we put money into marketing, like I put money into marketing, that's why you're here watching this webinar. That's how we make more money, right? Rent, we put 2 months bond in, but rent is usually, let's say, $500, $600 a month, right? So anyway, $66 on top. Now you're going to see October, like it looks really low numbers here, right? You're going to be like, oh, Sujiro, what happened here? Well, we actually got bookings outside of Airbnb, because remember, Airbnb also take commission, and we're also geniuses, and we don't rely on booking.com. If I bet you any money, JW Marriott have their own website, don't they? They do, right? But they're also on booking.com because they're going to meet their customers where they are. So we meet our customers where they are. So a lot of our customers, as we know, as you know, my fiance, she's traveling. I travel with her. She's like, "Oh, I found this place on Airbnb." I'm like, "What the hell? People do that, right?" So we put it up on Airbnb and we ran ads to it, and we started getting bookings on Airbnb because people are looking for stays. And we named it QL Homes because we're going to manage multiple places, right? So this is our place that we post on TikTok. So we got TikTok bookings those months. So in high season, my rent was already paid. High season, my rent was already paid. Again, he was off Airbnb. Now, as you can say, average night stay was 16 days, guys. So this is a learning lesson. 16 days, it took me in this place, which I call home, it took me to cover my rent. But what did I tell you guys earlier? If we go, and yes, this place is beautiful, but it's a beautiful place that I can live in. Literally, it's so beautiful. It's in Lavington. It's like I can't wait to go there. And this is my place when I'm setting this up for people. I'll be staying here in my place, right? It's very beautiful. But if we now get a place like this in Westlands, guys, we can now charge $250 per night. And instead of waiting, 16 days. This was also the early bird price we gave people. And that Airbnb also takes commission. Instead of waiting 16 nights for us to pay back the rent, it can take us 3 nights. Let's say 4 nights or 3 nights. Then maybe if it comes through booking.com or any of these other places that it gives them commission. But what about the place that you guys have to live? It's not your money making place. It's just your place. But now because you're not there, it's bringing you money. You have a management on service. Even if you got to pay, obviously you got to pay a 20% cut to us, or even 30% just to, carry out those services. That's why we're charging so high. That's still, even if you pay $100 back in. But as we go on, because there's, what's the magic word? There's high demand, low supply. You're going to make a killing from this. It's going to go better than you could ever expect. Okay, the low season, let's get real, as I said. But now we've took our fear, guys, because now if you guys are looking at this, not into how can I make money from this? If you're looking at this like, guys, this is going to be my home. It's to make money out of this is a bonus. So anything we get from this is just a bonus, right? So like we're not looking at, anything is a bonus. So these are the low season, right? Low season, March, I still had to pay rent out of pocket, but that's okay. I can pay it because now we're building something that's special. So you guys can see it. So if we look a little bit here, you can see Kilimani has very high vacancy rate because it just got oversaturated for me. So many got in Kilimani. Again, Westlands, it's 10 to 18, which means it's unfurnished. There's a lot of unfurnished place in Westlands. Many unfurnished, so many guys, so many, which is still good but there's high demand for them too, because people are going to get these. That's what's happening. It's like, they're getting these furnished and then they're turning them and they're doing what we're doing, right? And for the furnished is 10 to 15% and even lower for the serviced. Lavington, where we live, is very good too. So these are the vacancy rates. So service apartment, guys, the demand. Who are most of the people that stay at a service department? Well, it's a no-brainer. It's a corporate residence. Remember that lady's job? Her job is is to assign corporate people, guys. And as I go through this, guys, a lot of you guys, what you can do, because I want to be wary of time, and this can get quite passionate and deep. You can. I've put in my calendar, so I'm giving you guys my personal calendar, just because I don't want our free coaching one like it's too booked out. But you guys can now just book in that calendar if you want to actually go further into this. But let me show you guys this now, because there's still a little bit to show you. So look, demand, corporate residents, 62%. 62% of people stay in service departments, guys. Look at that, 62%. Private residents, 30%, right? Some, maybe some guys, maybe they even want to cheat on their wife, for example. There's people who have mistresses. I'm sorry, that's just how life is. Some people do. They want a nice, discreet, like a really classy place. They pay $250 a night. It's a CEO. They can afford it, right? So corporate residents are the ones. Why? Because Kenya is the capital, East Africa, right? Major banks, UN. So that's why Westlands is such a great place. The occupancy rate, guys, for service departments are very high because there's not many people who are doing them with class and elegance. I'm just sorry, but there isn't. 74% your place will be occupied when you're not there. And think about it, guys. When you go there, you're paying only $700 a month in rent. Let's say you add an extra $300 for amenities in terms of the services. Let's say you want your own driver when you're home and you're staying for 3 months. You get your own driver. You get you can even get a chef that we're going to add so many services to these people. They're going to be spending even more money than accommodation, which is why you're going to make more money. But let's say you come home, you're paying your rent, which is $700. You've even paid it before you've gone there. So you're not paying $3,000, $4,000 for accommodation. And then you're adding an extra $200, $300 for the services. You get your own driver, you get your own gym or weight person, right? You have the 24/7 customer service. That's everything for someone. You can record a podcast. You can do anything. So the locations in demand for service apartments is Westlands, which is 38%, which is what I want to do, guys. What I want to do with our investors, that some of you guys who take this journey, is I want to have a whole block of just our apartments, right? So let's say like a place like kind of I showed you earlier, and that's why I do my due diligence when it comes to looking at the place. We've got to inspect the place because it's going to be a place that you live. But if it's a place that you can live, that means other people can do that too. I will never sell something to someone that I haven't done myself. This, guys, the product that I sell to people is doing this for them is because I've done it myself. I know all the mistakes. I've been there. So, and I am this person, right? So I want to have our own place where we just have all our own buildings. So that's why right now I'm just searching through as part of the process with some of you guys is we get that unfurnished place, but it has to match the highest skills. So let's look at kind of the numbers, right? So the monthly service rates for Nairobi for a service department is going at 223,000, which is over again that amount 1,700 US dollars is going for a place in Westlands, guys. That's the going rates, guys. And that's just, yeah, that's for a service department. Maybe we give them, maybe that's not even with a driver. If you want a driver, it's 280, right? 280, someone will pay that. And how much profit do you get majority of that profit minus your expenses in property management? The guys, how much profit are you doing? And then here's what's very common. Look at this, guys. 42% two bedroom, 35% one bedroom, right? So let's look. Those are the most in demand service places. Don't even show me this. Sorry, I'm sorry, guys. Let's go back to this place. This is what I love. Look, all the places here are 1 and 2 bedroom places, guys, because it suits. Look at this. We're going to do this, guys. So you come, you join on board with us. We get units. We walk you through this whole process, you know? So it's like you get your place. There's no nonsense. There's no games. We go there. I'm meeting with it's like as I said, and that's why it's an 8-week process. We can do this in 2 months, guys. But the only due diligence, it may take a month to maybe go and find a place that has all these amenities. I want a place that has maybe a co-working space. I want a place that has an amazing pool, that has, you know, the great amenities. That's why every apartment that I look at, guys, that's unfurnished in Westlands, I'm looking at it in this vision. Would it look like this? Does it have a great view? Look at all these comments, guys. And these are people are paying ridiculous amounts. United States, Kenya, Uganda, from all over the world. And the people who pay the most money appreciate your place the best. Because remember, guys, it's your place. It's a place that you're going to live. It's going to be your home. But now when you're not there, it's a cash flowing asset. And because there's low supply, and we're going to have the biggest attention to detail when you come do it with us, which is standard. Now it's going to bring you income, and that, guys, is the Kenyan dream. So let's look at what it looks like. Would you rather? I want you to put in the comments from what you guys took out of this. Would you rather do Airbnb, so solely for those guys who are coming for business conferences? Let's say they're coming 3 nights, 4 nights, 5 nights. Or would you just have a full-time tenant that's coming in and they're staying for 8 months and they're paying 2,500 a month or 2 grand a month, and you know, work out your commissions there minus 20 to 30% for property management, and how much are you taking home? And we will work like, and this is a place that, but you're going to go stay there for 3 months out of the year. So maybe you rent it out if you're going there for 3 months, you know, all you're doing is paying $700 a month. Okay, cool. Even if you have property in Kenya, this applies to you because you can actually own property, and just instead of you owning and living in your place, own a place, even own it out unfurnished. Let someone rent it and pay $500 a month. You go rent out a place that's already furnished, pay your $700 a month, but then you have another 2 to 3 to 4 properties that are your subleasing that are bringing in all the money that's even paying your own rent. Imagine. So, okay, so one, if you do Airbnb only for premium guests, $250 a night, because we're only serving to the premium. Put number 1. Put number 2 if you'd rather have a full-time tenant who's paying premium prices. So let's say $2,500 a month with extra services. Or you'd rather do both. Maybe you do both. Maybe you do Airbnb when it's empty. And then now if let's say we get in a full assignment, one of our relocation, I'll say, hey, Sujira, I've got someone who wants a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom. This is their budget, and they're going to come for 6 months or 8 months. Do you have a place? I ask you, you say, yeah, sure. They can come and stay in my place 6 months. Even maybe I'm still going to Kenya. I can go stay, maybe I rent out another place and I can pay for it because these guys are bringing me $1,200 a month while I'm in Kenya. What would you rather? 3 options.
Here are the pros and cons of a full-time tenant. The pros, in my experience, are you have a set amount of rent that you know is going to come in for the life of that tenancy. And you compare that to, say, a holiday letting, it's far more sporadic. Now, you might be able to charge a premium through Airbnb or however you might do it, but it is sporadic. And my understanding is there are also more costs associated with running an Airbnb business, the cleaning that goes into it, etc. So you'd have to understand all of that. Having a permanent tenant in, and particularly if you have a property manager that's managing it, I can literally sit back and not have to worry about that particular property or that tenant.
Guys, what about if you can do that? What about if you can come to Nairobi, you've already put rent in every single month that you just, okay, I can put aside rent for this. But when you're not there, it's getting booked out. And when it's getting booked out, you're not doing the day-to-day operations. Guys, we'll be in there. And, because we run Airbnb, we run several Airbnb properties. We're not paying high expenses in cleaning and stuff. So even your property management is like $200 coming out of your full profit that's coming in. $200, $300 for extra services. Then maybe you invest a little bit more because you want marketing and you want it actually booked out. Like you don't want an extra day that's left. You want it fully booked out. We'll have access to the clients like a relocation consultant plus premium business people coming, networking, paying that $250 a night, right? That is what's going to happen. And we can do that for you guys. So this is really the diaspora guide to investing in Kenyan real estate. And I just want you to think, what's your plan B, right? What about if you lose your job tomorrow or something happens, right? Many of us now can do remote work. What about if you can actually just come and live in, maybe I want you to come and stay in your place, in the place that we come and do for you. And I want you to stay in it and stay in a month and say, would I be comfortable for someone to come and pay $250 a night here? And if that answer is yes, then we have something because it's your dream anyway. It's a place that you're going to live, right? So this is really like kind of how we do things. I'll just show you guys quickly. In terms of, we really do like a roadmap, right? So let's have a look here. So we'll do a roadmap where we'll set up your own units. So for example, we'll start off, the people pay, or we'll have the contract, get that done. Then we have a strategy call. How do you want your place to look? What's the revenue goal that you have? Okay, do you want this a place to add you money? Okay, that's a goal that we can add, but let's just get a place that can serve you, that you can come and live with, and you can pay $700 a month, $600 a month, $800 a month, but that's a world-class place with great amenities. Right? So we'll go and do that, right? Like our place, honestly, is very beautiful. It's got the pool, it's got the gym, it's in Lavington. So these are places that once we get guys, because you're guys are going to do this, you're going to have 10 of these that are going to be bringing you so much money. So then we have some others in a quiet area like Lavington that we do. Maybe it doesn't have to be so expensive. Those ones could be from like, we still do them premium, like, 150 to like maybe 150 to 100 per night. So a few minimum nights, it covers rent and still serviced. So still high premium prices, but we do in Lavington, we do in Kenyan. It's just, I really want to get Westerns for you guys because that's what's has the high return on money, right? So we'll go there. Let's say you're in Dubai, you're in Australia, you are wherever you are, or maybe you're in Kenya, we meet in person. Maybe you're not in Kenya, which we do this people remote. And then now we go through the property. I'll go through there. So I go to Kenya myself. Why? I have a place that I can go stay. I do this for my clients. I go in there and we make sure we get the right place because it has to be everything. Then we'll get a lawyer and just to look at the lease agreement, make sure it's favorable on our terms. Lease agreement approved and signed. You pay the lease again. So you pay for our service and then you also now pay for the lease and the rent. 2 months bond. 2 months rent and then bond. Boom, you pay that. Now you've got the place. Then we do the furnishing. What do you want this place to look like? We get an interior designer, right? So now we've got a place with amazing amenities, no excuses. We work together, meetings every week, right? We create a furnishing. Then we do photography. The photos have to look like this. And if we're going to have a place that's going to bring us money, there's one key thing that we have to do. And I'll show you this before we leave here today, okay? And I'm going to show you now. But after that, after we furnish it, which could take another 3 to 4 weeks, whether we get an interior designer that you pay for, which, for example, we have my fiance, they could do it, anyone, or you can do it. We make sure it's amazing. We get the best things and not the highest prices, but we still spend a decent amount of money. But, we try to put our expenses down as much as possible. We get everything that someone comes and we can get reviews like this, right? So you furnish it well. We walk you through that. Boom, it's furnished, it's delivered. Now you have your beautiful place. Let's say you're coming to Nairobi in a month or 2 months, right? Before you come, we do a photography and the photos have to look like this because we're going to copy their business, right? So the photos look elegant. We do video, we put it up on YouTube. Now it's ready. for you to come. And then it's also ready for future bookings. And then now we're celebrating revenue that a booking is coming in advance because we're going to be the Gucci, we're going to be the Louis V, where people will have to book in advance. And minimum night is 3 night stay, which covers your rent. So we're ready now. And then so you've basically you've paid for getting your place set up with less stress, less hassle. So the only way we're going to be successful, all of us, because we're a team, is customer service. One thing I learned from every great business is customer service. I have to give everything for my customers. And this came natural.
Hi all, this is Nish, Director, CEO and lawyer from Professional Visa and Education Services. This is a quick review on the job that the Rubasha family's been doing with us, and we've been working together for almost a year now. I've been receiving a lot of support from himself, just the dedication and commitment for him to come to our office once a week, every week, spending that time understanding the nature of the business we do, also engage with our team members, and also trying to understand the service and the product that we provide to our consumer. I think that has been the great value add for us whenever we're making a video, because it's not about just making a content, but it's about making a content by the content creator, which is more connected to their client. You have done the good job, mate. Keep up the good work.
Guys, business is about customer service. It's about providing a service to your customers, guys. That's the only way we're going to be successful. It's providing a service to people. It's having customer service. That's everything. So what I didn't know what I was doing was also within my business, this was just marketing. He's a lawyer. Basically, by the way, if anyone wants to come to Australia, or he's an immigration lawyer and he makes a lot of money because there's so many people who want to come to Australia who get their visas rejected. And I had to go in and work in his business and say, how can we market him? How can we make him a leader in Sydney, CBDs? He's really built his $1 million empire globally, right? And customer service, because someone like him, he pays good money, and he paid good money because people who pay good money, they just want good customer service. So we're not going to compete because your place, you're living there, it's going to bring you income, but you're not going to compete with everyone else. You're going to be getting people paying. So it costs money to make money. Another customer service.
Ask you what's it like. Ask you what's it like your experience been working with us together.
8 or 9 months, consistently active, responsive, producing over and above the expectation. So incredible service, really, really great work, fantastic on feedback. So when you send us stuff and I'm like, oh, maybe do this or change this or fix this, it's just like done and it comes back. Team, the communications, the emails, keeping us up to date, it has been really fantastic.
Guys, that's what you want for your customers. When they come to your place, you answer them straight away. It's 24/7. So when they need something, when there's an emergency, we're there for them, right? So we give them amazing customer service, everything, feedback, everything. We give them everything, guys. That is how you're going to make this into also now an added investment on top of you just paying rent for your home. So if you need help in doing this, guys, I'd be more than happy to have a free coaching session. I have put it in the chat that you guys can have a coaching session with me. One who said both. And this is for you. Let's talk. Let's actually set up your place. Don't look at it for a place to make money and be short-term minded. How can I make money from this straight away? Let's actually build your home, your 1-bedroom unit. And then a bonus is when you're not there, let's put a plan together as partners and let's make money from it. Let's make it so, let's bring it $1,500 a month in profit for you. And you guys have seen this, right? I'm not making this up. I've been here and done it. I'm doing this, right? The place I've gotten, again, it's not bringing me $1,500 a month right now as we speak. But hey, I'm a businessman. I'm a visionary. I'm saying, you know what? I'm going to Kenya at the end of this month, which is why we're doing this roadmap, because even the same business model I'm giving you guys, we do this for people. And we only take in 3 people per quarter. And actually right now, we have 2 people available to come in and do this, right? So we have 1 already that's come in. We're now in the process of setting it up. Pay, contract, go through the contract, and then now we go through this 8-week process. And there's no pressure to this because my business is big demand, low supply. I don't have a spot for just everyone, just like our unit will be. No, you got to be the right fit. We got to be able to work together. We got to be able to be partners. We got to be able to see, and I want you guys to use this place to ask questions. Please ask questions. But, so I don't just work with everyone. So we take 3 people. We have 2 spots left. They pay, we get started, we go through this, get the bond, get the lease, furnish it. So that's why before we, get the furnishing and get the lease, the amenities, the place has to be spectacular. We have a money back guarantee. And also, like, I'm doing a gift for people. Your when you pay 2 months rent up front, because you're gonna have to do that anyway. I did that, everyone does that, then we will now cover your next month of rent just on the house because you've come this far. Because most people, don't take action. But this, guys, I have showed you. And if you want to take all this information, go ahead and do it. But don't think of this as like, how can I invest, invest, invest? Trust me, we'll get there. But if you just set up a place that's fantastic, that has the best customer service, that's amazing, that you yourself, you go and stay there for a month, and it's going to be your place for it. You're signing a lease agreement for 1 year, so you've committed to paying $500 a month, even when you're in the UK. If you can do that and afford that, then this is for you. If you can't afford that, then maybe this is just motivation for you to do this in 6 months, to do this in a year. But if those of you who want to get into this now, and you can say, you know what, worst case scenario, I can actually maybe even go live there and I just pay rent $700 a month. I'll go live there. I don't know what your situation is, home, whatever, but I can go live there. I can pay that rent, or I can live in the UK. I can pay rent there, $500, 600 a month, and just it's my rent. But guess what? If Sujiro comes to me and we're getting and let's say maybe I decide to put money into marketing, or I don't, but I now make some money from this, and I'm like, wow, this has paid off my rent. It's brought me $800 this month. It's brought me $400 a month. It's brought me $800. Okay, hey, let's put money into marketing. Okay, boom. The next month you make 1,500, $2,000, and you're in the UK. The month after that you make $3,000. Maybe you're going back in 2 months and it's your place to stay. You use that money. So you guys see where I'm going with this. See this as your home, but something that's going to generate you income. And if you're really serious about this, I will walk you through this in 8 weeks. But we will also take our time. So when I say 8 weeks, it's 8 weeks from when we get the lease. It may take us a month to go in and find a good place, because I'm a perfectionist. And yes, like, this place is great, but will I go for it? I don't know, because I want the amenities like this. That's what I want. I want the amenities like this. And guess what? Because there's always new developments in Westlands, in the Global Trade Center, close to the UN, maybe a place comes available in May by the time I'm in Nairobi, and I'll be there on the ground doing this for people, right? I'll be there serving you. I'm here to serve you. So while I'm there, maybe something comes open. So maybe if I would have rushed to get this place, maybe I would have missed out on something that could generate us more money. Yes, this place will be good for us to live. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be great. It's amazing. But if there was a better opportunity that could have brought us money, for that can look like this with the amenities this has, fantastic. Or maybe you want a place in Westlands in Kileleshwa. Okay, cool. Let's go get a nice apartment there. Like me, pay even cheaper rent. But in Ngong Road, even cheaper rent. Do it up amazing, and we can still put it at a premium price. We can still put it up at 180 a night, 190 or 130, and less amount of nights pays your rent. So again, does anyone have any questions? And as I'm giving any questions, you guys can now book in a time with me on my personal calendar. So as you're getting questions, make sure you book in your time and ask me questions. What doubts do you have? What fears do you have? What questions do you guys, did you feel that dream of relocating back to Kenya? What questions do you guys have for me before we get out of here? Because you guys have given your time, and that means a lot. Or was I just good at explaining everything? Communication is a natural thing of mine. But yeah, make sure you book in your time now and ask your questions, because this is your time to ask a question, and you don't have to put your mic on. You can write it in the chat. Hey, how much is this? What can we get a place? What's the best place? As I said, I think I went through that, Westlands, places like this. What should I do? Should I do this? Ask your questions, property management, whatever. But again, I just thought, if I take the expectation, even on my side as a business person, if I take the expectation away from like, oh, how much money am I going to make from this? It removes the risk, because there's really not much of a risk here. The only risk is the operator, which is me. Who's the CEO? Who's the person who's managing this, right? If they're a shark, if they're good, they're going to get a good place and get good a deal. What are the requirements for foreign investors to own property in Kenya? That's a very good question. So, what do you need? So let's go if you're a non-Kenyan passport holder. If you do not have a Kenyan passport holder, you can have an apartment in houses with no lease restrictions, and you'll have a leasehold land only for 99 years, which is after 99 years, you just have to put in an application. It's like a approval process for another leasehold land for 99 years. So what you need is a KRA pin. That's the tax. And when we start making good money from this, guys, you'll also make sure you have a KRA pin because from, let's say, when you're on in Nairobi for your place, you're going to be earning money. And too much money was like, you know what? Okay, we can give some to tax, which not everyone really does, but so you need a KRA pin if you're not a foreign investor. You can open a Kenyan bank. You don't need to. There's Wise. Um, you can register in a business, but this is what the KRA pin does. That's why you need a KRA pin because if you get a KRA pin, you can pay rental income tax. You can open a Kenyan bank account. You can register a business. This is mom's place, by the way. You can buy property in Kenya, pay stamp duty, and register a title deed. And what is a KRA pin? It's a Kenyan Revenue Personal ID number. It's a tax ID number issued by Kenyan Revenue Authority. So that's really if you're a foreign investor. Now, if you're leasing, you even need less. What about if I already own two in Mombasa now? How can you help me to be busy? It depends. I mean, we have very high standards for our places. So do your places in Mombasa even meet our standards? Do your places in Mombasa meet the standards of something look, even if it's not like this, like, look at my place, right? Like, my place is not like that, right? It's not a, JW Marriott. I mean, it's still very, I feel it's amazing, right? It's very comfortable. So, how would I would do my place if okay, well, I'm gonna do Airbnb. I'm gonna do booking.com. I'm gonna be marketing it on my socials. Well, that's just me being a businessman. Yeah, I'm going to be marketing. There's people in my network. I'm going to be saying, okay, who has access to my clients, right? How can I just show them my place? Because if my place is very, very beautiful and has beautiful videos, then it's going to be attractive. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you'll send me the videos. You can, if you book in your coaching session, come in, show me the videos that you have. Let's see how we can. I'll just come in and give you ideas. But of course, if it meets a certain requirement, which for me is elegant, then it also depends on what market you're playing in. I don't like to depend on Airbnb, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to depend on Airbnb. No, I don't want it to determine like, if people book me or not. So I'm just going to have a multi-platform strategy. So that's why I'm saying for some of you guys, if you haven't done this before, we'll have our apartments and then we run ads on Google. So when people search luxury apartment in Nyali, so, for example, let's say luxury serviced apartment. So, someone here has a place in Nyali in Mombasa. Let's look at what it shows us in Mombasa. Let's have a look. Does your place come up when I search this? Luxury apartments, and I'm going for luxury, guys. I'm sorry. Is that okay if we set a very high standard? That's how I do my business. Everything we set from our clients on ourselves, we set at a high standard. What's the most premium places in Mombasa? 360 a night? What does this place look like? Let's have a look. We're going on a little bit extra, guys, but does your place, can it look like this? And I think we can do better, but like even the gym here, yeah. But look, it's still look. Oh, it's got a conference room. Look at that. It could be a business retreat. Are you going for a business retreat? Maybe you have an apartment. You just do solely for Airbnb, and we do something magnificent. Do the same thing. We get an even cheaper apartment for cheaper rent. Let's do the same thing. Let's do it in Mombasa. Maybe Mombasa could be your first place. I know someone here already has a place in Mombasa, but I believe we can get a place cheaper in Mombasa. Maybe you get it for $400 a month, guys. $400 a month in Mombasa is cheaper. It's not like Nairobi. We get it even cheaper in Mombasa. So you'd be like, look, I have a place in Mombasa that I'm paying $400 a month. That $400 a month you're spending on food, on what else do you spend on that much money a month? On subscriptions? What about if you spend that money on your amazing place, furnished apartment in Nyali? And then guess what? When you go to Kenya now, guess where you go stay? You go stay at your apartment you're paying $400 a month for. But you're living like a king, a queen, with the highest amenities. and you're paying 400 because you got it unfurnished, but you just furnished it really well. So yes, you knew, okay, I'm going to invest in the furnishing, which if you're going to buy an apartment, if you're going to do off any way you do this, you're going to have to invest anyway. So if I spend less money, but I get more value. So now I have an amazing place and we charge premium prices like this because it's at a place that's beautiful. Maybe it's even it's in own location, own place. We still charge high to $200. Look at this. And Mombasa, we can even give more services because it's cheap. We'll find out what's the rental going for, and this now we'll see even more profit solely. So now you have a place that you're paying $400, but look how much this is rent for. Why can't we have a place like this? So what about if we go and do this for you in 8 weeks, but we do our due diligence and take our time to find the right place? Look at this place, right? So the same thing you can do in Mombasa and you can even do it better. That could even be your first place, guys. Any other questions, guys? Again, if you want to come and show me if you own property and you want to show me if it meets standards that I see, that's going to make you make 1,500 a month, 2 grand, charge 250, book in your coaching session. We'll talk about it. If you're someone who wants to do this 6 months from now, book in your coaching session. For me, I'm a business person. I did this way riskier than you guys because I'm not going to lie. Maybe I had the expectation for my place to make money out of it. That's what I wanted. Well, yeah, that was a motivation. But I was like, you know what? I'm not there. So of course, if I'm not there, of course I want it to make me money. Like, come on, I'm not there. I'm here in Australia. I just came back from there. You said, how do I book that? I'm just going to put the link again here. So can you look in Zoom on this chat here? I've just sent in my link in the Zoom. Let's see if you meet the requirement. So I was riskier because I was like, I don't know if it's going to make me money. Like, is there a need? Like, I didn't know if it was going to make me money. So, but going into it as like, this is just my apartment that I'm paying rent to. Now I'm not expecting money. But when you don't expect money and you're living in a life of abundance, that's where money flows to you. So you're going to watch money flowing to you because you're not coming into this as Sujira. You're here to make me make money. No, I'm here to help you get your place. I'm here to be someone on the ground that you can trust, that has a business that's like everything is out there in the open because we build a personal brand. That's how we make money. We make money because people trust us. People know who we are. They Google my family, my name, everything comes up. So that's why we do marketing because it builds the trust. Because it's like if it's not about trust and you trust the operator, then everything else I can be at ease. I can meet with you. We talk. We get along. We look at this. But this is going to be your place that you're going to live. But now it's going to bring you 2 grand a month. That's the long-term vision. And that's if we do things correctly. But regardless, you can go back and move and stay in summer holidays. Now, let's say if you're going, I have someone now they're joining in August. They're going there in August. So they're joining now. By the time this is kind of still a bit low season, by the time August is ready, they come and stay at their own place. They stay at their own place. They're not going to pay rent. But for September, October, November, December, maybe they go back to Dubai. They're going only for a month. So in September, October, we already have a wait list for people who want to book it at $250 a night. And we're not competing in the average market. We're clean hyper plus market. So have you booked in you asked about the link. Have you booked in your coaching session before I get out of here? And thank you for being gracious with your time, everyone. So you can book in your coaching session there and we'll do it for you. Let's go set you up on an 8-week journey. For some of you, maybe, again, if you have property, you could be someone who says, okay, do I have money to play around with? Do I have 15 grand to put into this, furnishing, service, do I have that? Do I have 10 grand and then I have another 5 grand later? Do I have 5 grand 1 month and then I can get another, so you can pay by installments? I furnished my apartment with installments. I didn't just put 10 grand in. So our service you can do with it. We have two. You can pay upfront and save. You can do installments. So you can install while you take time to earn more money. Then you can pay off that, earn more money. Now you've got a perfect place. Boom. Now you pay the bond and rent. You've been saving money. You've paid your 2 months bond. Now we're furnishing already. You've already saved that money for bond and rent. All that's happening is we're furnishing it. You're seeing it. Then you're coming and staying. You have a book that you can come and see it personally. Maybe you're coming there in December, maybe. And then we say, okay, now you've got a place that you can see physically, you can touch, someone can go there, someone we can be there. But now I'm calling you and you see it on Airbnb, you're registered on Airbnb, you see the income coming through, so you know it's your place, you know if someone's checking in, and now you get a call and now you're getting bookings in as a bonus. Would you be happy with that? Let's say your place is in Mombasa. Let's go on holiday, guys. Let's go rent out, pay 400, $300 at a place, or, let's say a good place, maybe now prices are going higher. Maybe we rent at $600 in Mombasa, $700 in Mombasa, even if it's $800 in Mombasa. But that's our unit. Now, maybe instead of you going to Nairobi, going to Nairobi, maybe you just say, look, I want to go to Mombasa. I've already got an apartment there. Okay, maybe I'll go to Nairobi for the weekend. I'll pay $300. Maybe if I go stay at somewhere else. I'll pay $300. Maybe you can stay at one of the service apartments that someone else, one of the other you guys have. So you pay $300 in Nairobi. You've already paid rent for your place. It's coming your place. But maybe you paying $300 in Nairobi has come from all the rent you've received for someone booking your place when you weren't there. So you're paying for your stay in Nairobi out of the rent that's come in by you not being there just because you pay rent at this asset. You don't gain from the capital appreciation. You gain from the cash flow. This is what we're doing, guys. So has everyone booked in your coaching session? If you've booked in your coaching session, press 1. If you haven't, and you're just going to take this information to, put a plan together and get your budget and get everything, press 2, because this is still value for you. No matter who you are, there's still value. Even if you don't come, we're not for everyone. But I'm just a vessel to invest in yourself, but I'm also a vessel for this information. So we have a WhatsApp group as well, where we post a lot of these updates, what's happening on the ground, doing this. I'm also going to put that in the chat, and then you guys can join and think of your last questions before I get out of here, because I've literally left you guys for too long. And did you guys get value of this? Did I help you guys? Please let me also know. Please feel free to let me know if I gave you guys value. If you're going to, you're booking a coaching session, come as a couple, come as a family. This is a family thing. If you're going to do this, do it with your partner. We don't just do things single-handedly, right? I did this with my fiance. So I'm going to Nairobi at the end of this month, so we can actually work with you to do this. Okay, I'm just putting my link before I get out of here. This is for the WhatsApp group. You can join. So let me know once you've booked your coaching session. So Man, thank you for booking. Awesome. Now you've got the link. Let's go live an amazing life. Let's go relocate. Who wants to go to Mombasa? Put a number 5 in the chat before I get out of here. Guys, let's go to Mombasa. That's even a better idea. Maybe we're looking at Westlands. You know what? Maybe let's go. We have the option. Maybe we choose Westlands or Nyali. I'll go check out both places. Okay, because maybe we can find cheaper rent in Mombasa. We pay cheaper rent, still put it up at a really premium price. We put $250, $300 because people are still traveling to Mombasa throughout the whole year. People with money are traveling everywhere, even though you don't know it. People are going into Louis Vuitton every single day. Aren't they still in business? So we put our Nyali apartment or Diani at $300 a night. Yeah. You guys think I'm joking? We put it at $250 a night. Driver, everything. But let's say we go rent it, we're renting it out for $700 a night, $800 a night. In a fortnight, how much did you make? Plus our property management fee to give it to us to have the drivers, the cleaners, everything. And this is your holiday home, guys. It's not a place you've bought. It's just your holiday place. It brings you income when you're not there. But now you work from home. Now you go live in Mombasa 2 months out of the year, 3 months out of the year. You're just paying rent. And then you're living like a king and queen with full-star amenities, driver, everything. And you're paying $1,000 in rent a month plus additional services. We do Masai Mara tours. You do a Masai Mara. We're doing that. So I went to Masai Mara. Now I have gone to the partners who gave us an amazing trip. They've told me their price. I charge 3-4 times extra and offer it to people. So now when our apartments are fully booked, I come to you and say, hey, I've got someone going to Masai Mara. They've paid for a trip because I charge them high fees. Part of their fees paying me is accommodation. So I'll pay you 250 and for your place for just tonight because I've got someone who's coming to check in and then we're taking them to Masai Mara. And then you get 20% of you get a small percentage fee of their Masai Mara trip because we need to stay at your place. But I'm also paying you because they need to stay at your place. But we've given them a 5-star treatment of accommodation and go to Masai Mara looked after there. So that's a business because those are additional services. So that's why we're going to have the most in-demand places because we're not just a serviced apartment. We're an experience. People don't remember how you make them what you do, but they remember how you make them feel. You've been to thousands of hotels or Airbnbs, but which Airbnb do you remember made you feel special? I want you to think of that. And I want you to think of that. That's what you're going to make into your own living place. And then after that, that's what's going to make you money because you're providing people value. Let's go to Mombasa, guys. So we'll have our year party, all of us, our team, our WhatsApp group, all the investors, people who are subleasing. We have our big party in Mombasa. We're staying in our own places, actually, not even people staying there. We've made 6 months throughout the year. They've been just bringing us money. Now we come in and stay and we do a retreat for the services that we provide people. We're going to be our own customers, but we have a retreat. We get to know, we do podcasting. We talk about this whole journey. So you're going to use this even as a business. So you won't even need to go to work anymore. This will be we'll make this so much money for you that this will be a full, and you will now bring other people and help other people do it and bring back money to the Kenyan economy. You're bringing back money to the economy. You're doing it yourself. You're bringing back money. We're all making money from this. If anything happens, guys, we're leasing these apartments. Worst case scenario, we insure the furnished places. We insure them. Worst case scenario, even if we have to move out, something catastrophic happens, we've made all this money this whole time out of 12. We've made so much money out of this. We've insured the places. We've insured the place. Let's say someone sells it or the place burns down, catastrophe, there's a war. Hey, I've still made 20 grand out of this property. It's brought me, we've turned this into a huge business. Things, of course, always come up and it will have this will always be in demand because the reason why I'm so comfortable giving people, I put this on YouTube and I put it everywhere because I'm like, you can copy me. Of course, even me, I copy business things from people. Why do you think I've come up with this idea? This has all come through copied ideas. I didn't invent this. Look at J.W. Marriott. Go Google them, right? But think about how powerful this is. Think about how powerful this is. You are here because this is here to change your life. This has changed my life. And now you can do this now and watch the cash flow come in. But the most important thing is you have the place. You can be closer with your family. Maybe your daughter's home. Maybe, whoever's back home. Now they can come and stay with you in your apartment. You stay with your wife. You stay with your family. Maybe you guys stay in Mombasa. You stay in Westlands. You stay in a really good area. But now these places are going to be quadrupling your income because you're not in lack. You're not in, oh, I hope someone books my Airbnb this month. No, that's my business is we charge you high, but people rush to pay us. That's how I run my businesses. Why do you think we get great reviews like these people? We get great reviews because we have people that's why if people doesn't want to do business with me, I'm so fine with that because we don't have to do business with everyone. You see all those reviews. I want to do business who will appreciate my service, who are not about price. When we mention price, they don't flinch. They don't say, oh, that's too expensive. If it is, that's okay. Maybe it's just a stepping stone. If it is too expensive, then we get that. There's been plenty of things that are expensive for me. I just don't go shop there. Or I'll go look and I'll learn from it and I'll take it. I'll do the coaching session, but I just won't pay, but I'll take what they give me. Or I'll come back and say, okay, I've got the money. Here's your money, which we have some people who join in the next intake, which you can, right? But I'd rather be in the business where people rush to pay me. I'm not a seller. I'm just authentic. I am who I am. I love this stuff. I'm passionate about it. Just like the way I was passionate about football. But I put this in because I'm a visionary, right? So like when you attract the best customers, they pay the most premium prices and you get customer reviews like this. I'm not forcing these people to do these. These are CEOs that you can go and Google them here in Australia, multi-millions of businesses that we speak to that are doing in the room with, right? Because they're the high net worth individuals. And these are the places when they go to Kenya, where do you think they go? They hear about Kenya. Who do you think they know? And now my place is always going to be occupied. I'm staying in one of them. My other place is occupied. Our place in Kilimani is occupied. So you guys come in there and you guys have paid us to do this for you. Now we're also incentivized to bring you money, because now if I bring you money every month, if I bring you a tenant every month, I also make money from you too, because that person's going to pay you $2,500 a month. You're not going to manage their place for them. You're in Dubai, you're in America, you're in Australia. You're not gonna manage it for them. So by me also incentivized to now have your place booked out when you're not there, from that 2,500, someone stays a month at your place, or that 250 a night, I take 20% from that, because we gotta do everything. Or I partner with we're in the middle of that because we're doing it ourselves, because we're gonna be wise with our money. But now if we can partner with a cleaning company, like a full service driver, all that, and we partner well with the right one that matches our customer service needs, we pay 20% to that. So now we'll profit also from you $300 a month. Even if it's, 300, we put in a marketing budget, right? So we're profiting, an amount for managing your property. So you're just getting cash every month coming into your bank. And then you get 3 apartments, 4 apartments, you use that money. So that's money so that's where this is leading to. So if that has, as I said, if that hasn't, leaded you to book in your coaching session, then I hope this gave you value. You're going to be in the business of abundance. What did that lady said? She said there is more demand than supply. And when there's more demand than supply, that's the greatest thing you can have in a business. Have you ever walked to a restaurant when it's completely empty? You haven't, have you? Have you walked into a restaurant that's full and you say, hey, I'm going to eat here? Yes, you will go and wait in that line because it's full. You're even proud to wait. What about if we do that with our apartments, because there's not many people doing them like we'll do them? These suites that we're already doing this already live on the ground. So now I'm getting my next place in Westlands that I'm putting my deposit. But again, I'm just being patient because I'm saying, you know what, something better can come. My standards have to meet JW Marriott, or maybe we'll go get that one in Mombasa. I want a holiday home in Mombasa. I've got 2 apartments in Nairobi. I want one in Mombasa. I can pay 3 of those rents because my business brings me money, my income brings me money, my marketing company brings me money, my customers I do this for who we're serving bring me money. So then now I can pay those 3 rents, but now what's the income now I'm going to bring on, let's say, that one in Mombasa? Everything that else comes in extra is income, and that's going to happen for you too. Okay, guys? So thank you so much for coming here. I'll see you guys later. Message me on WhatsApp. I'm here for you guys. Anytime you guys need anything, we'll see you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.
If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to click here, and I'm sure you're going to love that one.